Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to welcome BrianVanCleave, and he is the author of The Walls Fell Down, Walking in Faith for Victory. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yes, it's a study on the book of Joshua, and what I like to do with my books is to make them easy to read, but kind of like a biblical commentary, but not as heady. It gets deep, uh, but my goal is to take the stories from the book of Joshua and apply a personal life story of my own life that fits with the main theme of that particular chapter. Focus mainly on walking in obedience to the Lord in faith. And so I take a personal story and I tell something about my life. Sometimes it's funny and sometimes it isn't, but anyways, then we mine the story and I try to get as deep as possible without making it too difficult to read like some commentaries are. And then I end each chapter with a life application that the reader can apply to their life. Well, how can they put this into action for themselves? And then at the end of each chapter, I have a points to ponder where I highlight what I think are the main points of the chapter, and then a digging deeper section if people want to study the book deeper. And there have been a few Bible studies that people have bought the book and run Bible studies on it using that digging deeper section. So that's pretty much it. And now for this one, I only because I don't like my books being too long because I get bored personally, and so I think maybe readers do too. But so I only went through about 15 chapters of Joshua, and I'm now working on a sequel to. I'm calling it the sequel instead of part two, and so I'm going to finish The Walls Came Down here, well, however long that takes. But so I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Well, I just love this. I think the book of Joshua is such a good one. I love the idea that churches can purchase this to use for Bible study groups. I think that's awesome. And also how you have put personal examples of stories and things that have happened in your life in with it. I think that that's something that probably people can really relate to. Brian, what was your inspiration for writing the book?
Well, a few years ago, I really felt like Jesus told me to write a book uh, to men in particular that they were under attack in our society. And so I wrote a book called Jesus, a Man's Man, and it deals with specific issues that men in following Jesus face in their personal life. And so the the way I did it is the same thing: personal stories, then a story about, and this was mainly focused on Jesus and his apostles and what they dealt with, and then that particular issue, anger, um, uh, marriage or whatever it may be. Well, anyways, I felt really like it was a mandate to do that. And after that, I felt like the Lord said, continue writing. So I wrote another one on the wilderness wanderers, how to be a promised land person, and it's called Out of the Wilderness. And so again, in that same style, because I'm a pastor. I've been a pastor for 48 years, and when I read commentaries on the Bible, they're so deep and so heady, and there's so many big words I don't even understand them. And so I thought, can I, like my sermons, can I present that to people? And so I felt like the Lord said, continue this process. There's been good good comments, and they've been accepted well, and so that's pretty much the inspiration. Um,
That's
so.
great. And like you said, I love that you've made these easier for people to understand. And you talked about earlier how you made it a shorter book. I think that that's wonderful, especially because everything seems so fast paced nowadays, and people, I feel like, have shorter attention spans. So I think that that's great. And I think that people are really going to enjoy that. Brian, is there anything else you can share about the book or about yourself or the messages within your book?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I go personal. Like I said, I've been a pastor for 48 years. I was a youth pastor for 17 of that, and I've been this October, well, I'll be married 47 years and have 3 kids and 8 grandkids. So I'm kind of a real guy. I coach junior high football and I've been doing that for 30 years. And so I really want to present that living for Jesus is a practical thing, and having a passion for the Lord. Uh, we all struggle with issues in life, and He's transforming us into His image, and so I want to give it in that simplistic way that yeah, obedience is important, uh, but and you're going to trip and fall. But the only thing that stops you in life, failure doesn't stop you. Quitting does. And so I think that's my heart for presenting these, helping people dig deeper into their relationship with Jesus and having a stronger walk with the Lord, and I'm just having a blast doing it. I'm now on staff at a Calvary Chapel in McMinnville, Oregon, and I deal uh, with the seniors, so the old people like me, and it's like being a youth pastor again. We're having so much fun, but so I think that's pretty much it, and I hope people will pick up the book and enjoy it and tell their friends about it. So
Well, this is great. And I think with your background, you're the perfect person to write this book. It sounds like something that just, the everyday person can read, which I think is great. So, anybody who's interested in picking up a copy of this book, again, it's Brian Van Cleve, and the title is The Walls Fell Down Walking in Faith for Victory. You can get it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Apple Books, to name a few. Thank you so much for being with us today, Brian.
thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
So
too.
so.